All right, this is the Dvar Malchut. This is a speech of the Lubavitcher Rebbe given in 1991. And of course, it's talking about the Moshiach and the future redemption and how it's supposed to not be future. It's supposed to be right now, and how actually it is happening a certain degree right now. But it's very demanding. It demands from us, right? The future redemption is true. It's something that God does. It's going to be big miracles, but we have to be total partners in this business. We have to be total partners with the creator of the universe in order for this blessing and health should actually, a healthy world should actually become a reality. So here it is. There was in 3,000 whatever years ago, 3,200 something, 90 years ago, the Jewish people entered the land of Israel, and they divided the land of Israel among the tribes. How did they divide the land of Israel? So it says the bigger tribe, they got the biggest point of land. That's it. The Rav Yarbeh Nachalatov, Lama'at Yamit Nachalatov. The biggest tribe got the biggest portion, and the smallest tribe got the small. Right? That's it. Says, no, that's not it. It says, Ach Bagorel, but only by means of lots will the land be divided up. So they put lots. We talked about this yesterday. They took 12 whatever it is, cards, and they wrote the 12 names of the tribes, and they put that in one box. And then they put the areas, area number 1, number 2, number 3. The areas were already predetermined, what they're going to be. And they pulled out the lots and the area, and it came out, tribe of Reuven comes to number 1. And it was exactly what was decided before, that the biggest tribe got the biggest area and the smallest tribe got the smallest area. And not only that, before they did this whole business with pulling out the lots, as the high priest, the Kohen Gadol, he would put on this garment called the Urim V'Tumim, and it would answer questions. It would tell the future. And he answered also which tribe gets which portion. So it ended up, there was basically 3 ways that it was divided up. It was divided according to logic. It was divided according to the Kohen Gadol, the high priest. That's called Ruach HaKodesh, by divine inspiration. And it was also divided by the lots, the 3 things. Okay, that's what God wanted. It says even more, that each one of these lots, when it was pulled out, it would yell out a lot. It was like a card, and the card would yell out, I am the tribe of Reuven, and I receive area number 3. It would yell out. So the Rebbe says, why do you have to have that? I mean, that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why did God make it that way? So the Rebbe is trying to tell us that the goal is no more important. I'm sorry. The goal is is not more important than the means. Right? You're doing something, you have a goal, get to it. Usually what you're interested in is the goal, right? You want to buy a new house, so you get a job. You have to work, you have to talk to people, you have to do things. But the main, what you want is the house. You want to buy a new house, so therefore you work. Right? Therefore you're working at this. So the work is like a secondary thing. It's a means. If someone would just come and give you the money, you would stop working. Right? You're only doing it give you a free house, you win a house, that's it, you stop working. Right? So the Rebbe says, no, it's not right. The fact is that every instant of life is tremendously important, and every detail of life is tremendously important, and the means to achieve a thing are no less important than the thing that you achieve. You have to have a job, be pleasant to people, be honest when you're serving, right, in your job, right, do the best you can, don't lie, don't cheat, don't be lazy, right? And why? Because you should be, every moment is important. Every moment, you don't see that it's important? That's the problem. You don't see it. If you would see and feel and invent important, look for important, then it would become important. It would really become important. I know I've said this a lot of times, but it's so impressive to me that Professor Viktor Frankl, he ran a whole huge a clinic, a hospital, a psychiatric hospital in Vienna. And he said that sometimes it could be that the janitor, he was also a brain surgeon. He was also a brain surgeon. He says sometimes it could be that the janitor heals more people than the brain surgeon does. Because the brain surgeon does his job, he's the best, he's the greatest. The whole hospital depends on him, right? Janitors are a dime a dozen. You can janitors, no big deal. But a janitor, exactly the opposite. The janitor, because he says to people, "How are you today, Mr. Jones? How are you feeling? What a wonderful family you had. They came and visited you. I saw. Would you like me to open the window for you? Would you like anything you would need? Should I call the nurse? Somebody cares about him. Says a good word. So the good word. That good word that he says could help a person more than the brain operation that he did. Why would the janitor say good? Because he knows that the means. I mean, the janitor is just working to make money. That's all he's working for. His job is just to clean the floors, and that's it. What does he care if people live or die? But he knows that the means that every moment is important. So that's what the Rebbe is trying to say. Not only is every moment important, but every moment is holy. If it's for a holy purpose, what you're doing is for something good, then the car that you drive in order to get there, and the gas that you use in order to get there, and the clothes that you're wearing when you go there, and everything becomes elevated. Okay. Since this is in tune with what the Tzemach Tzedek, the third Rebbe of Chabad, said to one of his Hasidim that wanted to come to the land of Israel, and he said, "Make here the land of Israel. Don't go to the land of Israel. Make here. Here is going to be the land of Israel." In other words, stay in the city of Lubavitch. Stay wherever he was. I just want to see where we got up to yesterday. Yes, okay.
I think hey, I think.
Yep. 1 second, there we go. Thank you very much. Yep, that's right. You're right, 100%. Thank you. So this is also in tune with what the Rebbe said. Tzemach Tzedek said to one of his Hasidim that wanted to go to Israel. He said, "Make here Israel. Here should be Israel." So the Rebbe said, "What type of a thing to say is that? I mean, this is not according to halacha, not according to law. Israel is a holy place. The Lubavitch, the Ukraine, is a holy place. What are you talking about? What is it holy? And even if you want to say it's holy because the Rebbe is there, I mean, you can't compare it to the Holy Land, to Israel. And there's all these laws about Israel. What do you want to say? That in Lubavitch you want to start giving truma and meiser, you want to do shmitas and Lubavitch? Of course not. There's laws that you have to adhere to. What did he mean to say make here the land of Israel? It says, what is the whole idea of the land of Israel? And the land of Israel is a place where you feel God. It says, make wherever you are the land of Israel. Make wherever you are feel God. In other words, true, the Jews have been spread around the whole world as some sort of a preparation for the future redemption when the Moshiach is going to bring everyone to Israel. So that being spread around, that's just like a means. Said the Rebbe, the means is also holy. The means is no less holy. We're like the janitor in the story. I told you. The main thing is to heal the people. The main thing is Jewish people have to be in the land of Israel. Moshiach is going to come and bring us. But wherever you are, the means, the interim time, make that holy also. Let's explain this in an inner way. Kibush, the Chalukah, the Yeshuv, Ha'aretz, and that's the whole idea why the lot called out, even though it's seemingly a totally unnecessary thing. It says, no, every detail that's used as a means to something holy, that thing itself becomes holy. That thing itself becomes important. The lot itself showed that it had more potential than you would ever dream. It actually called out. It was more important than we could possibly think of. That the lot itself spoke, called out. So it is also every moment of our life if we're doing something good, every moment is crying out to us and saying something special. Okay, let's do what the Rebbe says. What's the idea of dividing up the land of Israel? Dividing up the land of Israel is this hints at avoted the service of the Jewish people, Eretz Canaan, to conquer what's called the land of Canaan. What's the land of Canaan? Artzot Sheva Goyim, the land of the 7 nations. Lasot Me'em, to make from them the land of Israel. Eretz HaKodesh, to make from the mundane holy. Before the Jews got to the land of Israel, it says that the land of Israel was one of the most debauched, whatever, decadent places in the world. Right? It says in the command, the Kamaisa in the Mincha of Yom Kippur, we read this reading, which is from Acharei Mot, and it says, over the Kamaisa Eretz Mitzrayim lo sasu lechem, Kamaisa Eretz Canaan lo sasu lechem. Don't do what they do in Egypt, don't do what they do in Canaan. And it explains it's a law. What do they do in Canaan? It says, I mean, not to go into the disgusting details, but all these decadent things they used to do. It explains what they were. I mean, you don't have to go, nowadays you don't even have to use your imagination. They're trying to educate children 2 years old about this. Anyway, that was what was in the land of Canaan, which became Israel. That was one of the most decadent, terrible places, immoral places in the world. And the job of the Jewish people was to take this land and Kavosh Eretz Canaan, Artzah Shiva Agoyim, and make it the land of Israel, a holy land. What does it mean, holy? A place where you can feel the Creator. Hainu Eretz Yehuda, Yehudit v'Kedusha, a land which is Jewish and holy. Eretz Shabo Nikar, that's recognized, you can see, the Gila in a revealed way, Sheichuto Liyadut, that this is the land of the Jews. Elokut v'Kedusha, it's the land of God. It's the land that's holy. Even to this day, they call the land of the Holy Land. By means of this, that the Jewish people, Menatzlim, the Jewish people, they utilize the land, the Kiyum Bo, to do with it the commandments which depend on the land. We'll leave a note to build the holy temple, that on it says, God, make me a holy temple, and I will dwell among you. Shazui, this is the intention, what it means of the whole entire creation. Not just to take the land of Israel and to transform it into holy, but to take the whole entire creation and make it holy. Lichvoshet the Gashmut, to conquer the physicality of the world. Like that's the first commandment in the Torah, Pru Ravu. Like it said, be fruitful and multiply. It says, Umala'u heta oretz, and fill up the land. The Kiv Shua, it says, and conquer it. The Jewish people are supposed to conquer the whole entire world with what? That all mankind will feel that God is creating them. Well, asod mimeno, that the whole world should become a dira lo yisprech b'tachtonim. The whole point of the thing is not that the Jews should rule the world and that everyone should do what we want, that everyone in the world will do what God wants on their own. They won't have to be coerced and they won't have to be convinced. I mean, maybe people always have to be inspired more, but the goal of all mankind will be to do with the world what God wants me to do with it. The world should be a place where everybody feels God in a revealed way. So to speak, like a person in this world. In order to conquer the world, in order this should be b'kol pratim. If you want to conquer the world, you want the world to really reflect the Creator. So it has to be in every detail of the world. Whether the land which we are conquering, the world, or whether the person who's doing the conquering. Kibush Oretz, in order to conquer the world, b'shlemos. Let's start with the land of Israel first. To conquer the land of Israel completely, kasher koshim, when they conquer the whole land of Israel. Kefi shaya b'kibush Eretz Israel, like it was when they came in the first time. If there's even a little bit of the land of Israel that was not conquered, Hariya kibush kulo eno b'shlemos is not complete. There's a person that I know He's the father of a person. Anyway, so every time I meet him, he tells me the same joke. It's some like one of these comedy routines. But the fact is, he forgets. I guess he forgets, or maybe he only has one joke. But he tells the same joke or the same story. I don't know if it's a joke. Same story all the time. Tells it as though it was the first time he told it. What's the story he tells? Said once there was a person that sold someone a house. He sold him a house, and he said, "I'll give you a really good price. The house is, let's say, worth $3 million." He said, "I'm willing to sell you the house for 1 million, but just on one condition. I want one nail, a hanger, like a nail comes out of the wall to hang your coat on. The whole house is yours. Just that one nail belongs to me, and I can use it whenever I want. 3 million, 1 million, just one nail. Good deal." So he thinks about it, gets advice. One nail, what? That's ridiculous. I mean, but you can't go into the rest of the house. This nail is like, near the entrance to the door. He comes into the house, and you're not going to be able to come in the rest of the house. No, no, no. Just to hang up my coat, and that's it. Just from the one nail. So, okay, good. We got a deal. Buys the house. You have to give me a key. Here's a key. Now he's got a key to the house. Now he can come in whenever he wants. Comes in whenever he wants. Comes in the middle of the night. He comes in. Sometimes he slams the door. Sometimes he comes in. He sings a little bit. Sometimes he comes in. He brings a couple friends, right? They come in and they're just up to the nail. The person feels, well, that's not my house anymore. I don't feel that this guy can come in anytime he wants to, right? Come in any second. And now they have to lock the door after he leaves. I have to lock the door. And he's unsure. Maybe one time he's going to send his friend to come and get maybe his friend won't know the laws. Maybe this. From that, the person never had a minute of silence. This fellow would come into the house just for the nail, just for this coat, just to hang up his coat. So it ended up that the house, good, he bought the house for $1 million, but the house is not really his house. It's not really his. Of course, nowadays they would say, okay, make a wall, make a something. Okay, it's a story. The same thing in the land of Israel. If we would conquer the land of Israel and leave one little part unconquered, so it's not really ours. It's not really ours. To conquer the land means that you have to conquer the land, and if you leave a little bit, then even the part that you do conquer is not really conquered. Kapashtus, like it says, Sha'az Nisheres Sakanat Anashim, from the people that still are in that place of the land that you didn't conquer. Alder says similarly, Mitzad Kibush, and we see that now, right? They figured they'd give this place of Gaza just to the Arabs, and then there would be peace. There would be peace. So what do? They have a chance. They can build over there. They get fortunes of money from outside. What do? They keep a whole bunch of people poor, and they shoot rocket. They use the money to buy rockets, and they used to dig tunnels. Now I guess the Israelis figure out a way to detect these tunnels. They used to dig tunnels from there over into our land. So you leave a little tiny place, one little house where the terrorists can stay, but the rest we'll give it to them. Just one little house. So the United Nations will be happy. We give them land. If you don't conquer it totally, then it's not conquered. And it's the same thing. Okay, that's talking about what we conquer. What about us, the conquerors? Similarly, al mitzad a kovesh. Mataya kibush ubeshlemus. One is the conquering, really complete. But often shenikar begilu, you can see shanichbashu nichbash lagamri al yidei kovesh, that the ruler actually rules. Kasher a kovesh, when the ruler leaves munach, the pola kibush, when he stops conquering, when he stops ruling, the call kochotav, if he stops just lazy, just in one area, the call prati animsoim shalo, the tzir shalo, and all of the details of that one, right? All the how do you say, the aspects of that one detail, kolelas polos adam ba'olam hu al yedei gimel levushim. For instance, we have 3 garments: thought, speech, and action. Im enu kovish at the oritz. If you don't conquer the land with your 3 garments, el b'maisa belavad, lelo tichnun, but you just conquer the land without any plan, with thought, below hora'ah, without any speech, the pekidei achayil, you don't command anyone, you don't have any plan, or rak b'machshava, or just with thought or with deed, it's missing speech. You don't say anything, so you're not really conquering anything. Maybe there's the example we have. If you read the book of Judges, read the book of Shoftim. So it happens like 15 times, if I'm not mistaken, one after the other. The Jewish people, they conquer the land, and then they got the land, they own the land in action, in fact, but they start thinking about idolatry. They start thinking, and then afterwards they start talking about it, and then they start to do it. And then when they do that, then they haven't conquered the land anymore. What do you mean they conquered it? It's all theirs. They conquered. He says, no, there a few non-Jews live over here. And they all of a sudden, it's like the nail that was there they have. But even more, now that they have the whole house without the nail, without anything. They have the whole entire thing. The nail of the house, and they have the locks and everything. But the problem is they inside the house, they're thinking outside. They're not thinking like owners. If they're not thinking, so that's what happened when the judges, all of a sudden they get attacked by the Kanani, they get attacked by the Pelishtim, they get attacked by the what is it, Ashurim. They get attacked from all these different sides until finally all the Jewish people come back to their senses. They get a leader that brings them to repent and to act like Jews, and then they win the battles, and then everything is okay. Then they act like Jews, and they talk like Jews, and they think like Jews, and everything is wonderful. They have the land of Israel until the leader dies, and then they start thinking a little bit outside, and then they start talking, and then they start doing, and all of a sudden, so it says, so there has to be two things. First of all, that you conquer the whole land. And secondly, you yourself, the conqueror, have to be a conqueror all the time. You have to be the ruler. Similarly, is also regarding taking over the world and serving spiritually, taking over the world to make the world a dwelling for God. Sheshlemus adira, that the completion of this dwelling is only when zechudir b'kol pratim shadir atzmo. The Jewish people are supposed to affect the whole world. How do we say an aleinu 3 times a day? Yakiru v'yedu kol yeshvei teva. The whole world will recognize. So how do we do that? It has to be that everyone in the world knows that they're being created and knows that they're being created from God's love. Everyone. B'kol prad, in every single detail, shadira nikar shehu shayach labaladira. Everything in the world should be a sign that it is from God. And base shala adam adar badira, the person who's living in the dwelling. Shenimsa begila, that it's found revealed. Bispashtus gemora. B'chol pratia mitziusam bedirato. Kaven sense shezeu makom kaviato, because this is the place where he lives. So you have to make it feel that every place in the world becomes a Jewish place. What does it mean, a Jewish place? That all the non-Jews go according to the 7 Noahide commandments, because it says in the Torah. So it doesn't mean you have to have a Jew ruling over every place, and you have to have the non-Jews come and help them put on tefillin or that. No, everybody lives their own life, but they live their own life and with a bigger picture. With a bigger picture. And it has to be that's called conquering the world, but it has to be we the conquerors, that we do what we're supposed to do also. Right? We're supposed to act in a way that's an example to the whole world. Similarly, is also kiviyachol benogea to the dira lo, for God, making a dwelling in this physical world. Shlemus adira, the complete dwelling in this world, mitbatet bezeh, is expressed in this, shekol pratia tachtonim, all of the details of the world. Haim, they are dira, they are a dwelling, begilui, in a revealed way of God. She'atzmuto mohuto, that God's essence and his very being, nimtzaet sham begilui, are there revealed. I mean, just to tell you the amazing paradox, there's a lot of times when the United Nations, they come out and they make decrees against Israel, and what do we come back with? What's our defense? Defense? What are you talking about? That's not so. We're not acting any different than anybody else. Here, look at the beaches. They're all filled with all sorts of people. People are, acting like, free. There's no Judaism here. What are you talking about? We're not, fanatics in the country. It's just a normal country like every country in the world. And what do the United Nations say? They say, oh, yes, we're sorry. They say, yeah, we hate you. You are a conquering nation. Well, but we're not. We promise you, we're so nice. We're nice to everybody. Look, we're giving away land. We're giving away everything. They say, yes, that's right. And you are a bunch of murderers. And they can't figure out why. We're doing everything right. Why does the world hate us? So the Rebbe is saying exactly the opposite. You're doing everything wrong. You want that the world should act in a way that the world should stop being murderers. The world should stop being decadent. The world should stop being thieves. The world should start being honest. There should be love. There should be care. There should be value for life. So you have to be the conqueror. Jews act like Jews. Act properly. Then that will eventually conquer the whole world, that the whole world will start to think, hey, I'm going to think about what God wants first. The Americans, they came to these Uganda and these other countries in Africa, and they wanted them to adopt this, decadent way of life. And they refused. And even the pupils in the schools, they refused. They say, we're not animals. We're not going to do that. And America started threatening them. You don't know, what are you talking about? In other words, human beings naturally feel that there are absolute principles of modesty and good and honesty in the world. They feel it. And the Torah just comes to strengthen these feelings of what's good. But that's the idea that the world goes according to it. The world wants to go. There's not much lacking. It's not that the Jews, we have to go and convince everybody. People know naturally that there is good and bad, and that it's bad to be decadent, and that it's good to have a family. People know that they know it from the beginning of creation. That's the way it was. But we Jews have to be the ones that say, listen, you know it, but God personally came and told the Jews this fact and told us that we have to tell the whole world the same thing. That's the Romans. We have to tell the whole world. It's not just a thing that you feel. It's written in a book. This is God's book. God wants, oh, see, I was right. Look here, it says, right? These things are wrong. That's what it means, that the whole entire world becomes conquered by the creator of the world. But the conquerors themselves have to be conquerors all the time. And if we really want to conquer, it means they have to be conquered every detail of it. And that's what the Tzemach Tzedek said, make here the land of Israel. In other words, the land of Israel is not limited. The holiness is not limited only to the land of Israel. The whole world can be holy. It's supposed to be. The holiness is supposed to spread out from Israel, right? But if we're scattered all over here, so if you want to be in Israel, so it's as though you're in the land of Israel. To that degree, until Moshiach comes in, it'll bring everybody to Israel. But here, that's what the Rebbe is trying to tell us, that every detail of the world, the means, the journey, until Mashiach comes and makes everything, the journey itself has to be made holy. And that's one of the main things Mashiach is going to do, to show us that the journey, every second of life is this journey, and every second is holy. And every second, that is the goal. Right now is the goal. As they said, they asked the Rebbe, the wife of the Rebbe. This story is told about a lot of people, but it's written in Chabad. Rebbe Rivka, she was the wife of the Rebbe Marash, the fourth Rebbe of Chabad. And she said, she was, of course, the grandmother of the previous Rebbe. And they asked her, you are the daughter, you're married to a Rebbe, and your whole family's Rebbe, your son is a Rebbe, your son's a Rebbe. Your whole life was in holiness. What was the happiest moment of your life? She said, the happiest moment of my life is right now. And if you would have asked her at any time, she would give them the same answer. In other words, happiness does not depend on something happening to me. Happiness is just the fact that I am, that I can do things, that I can give, that I can answer this humorous answer, appreciate God. Right? That's happy. A person like that can be happy no matter where, because he feels no matter where that person is, he's in the world. I have a job to do in the world. The world won't get me down. So even if the person, God forbid, is in prison, like the previous Rebbe, or he's ill, but nevertheless, even though that's called tachtonim, that's called the world, and now you have your attitude, that you have to put your attitude into the world to make a dira b'tachtonim, to make the world a holy place. As we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. And now let's do the Yom Yom. So I want to try a new way over here. We'll go like this. And now turn this off.